And I'm going to turn off my desktop audio because I'm catching too much background from it. You guys able to? Yeah, that'll be working. Okay, so this is a bubble diagram. And it's a little bit chunky. It's rectangular and stuff. But what this bubble diagram is a volume calculator. So all this green stuff around here that says 2, that's 2 units high. So it's either 2 feet, 2 meters, 2 inches. Whatever you're drawing in, it's 2 high. This exercise area is 4 high, and some of it is 8 high. And here's a library area, and this is I don't know, it doesn't say what that color is. I don't know. It's an open area. This is a kitchen, and this is a sleeping area. So this is how we teach people to start doing basic design with whatever that basic design area is. This could easily be a plot, and this is parking, this is something else, something else. So you're just color coding areas. Okay, but you can see if I want to know an area, I just have to know how many blocks it is one way and how many blocks it is another way, right? So that's why I say that you can calculate and get estimates using just rectangular areas. Now this one happens to have, where are my tools? Create, calculate. Let me calculate that area right there. 104 square blocks. And let me calculate the volume. It's running a little bit more. 608 cubic blocks. Okay, so this isn't that cool? It's like, so a lot of times before you start drawing, you just do a real simple calculation and you zone something out. So if you had your plot plan and you just kind of like drew some stuff in here, and look, that's 20 long. Sorry, it's 10 long. So if you knew that something was 30 long, you could start here and go over to here. See, that's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So we've made this bubble diagram calculator for you that'll help you do things. So that if you need to do cut and fill really quick, you can say, okay, I need to take everything that's above a certain elevation and cut it down by 2. I could just type a 2 here and I could copy this. And then I could do my area calculator, 49 square units. Yeah, and so you can do all this in AutoCAD and everything too. Here's the trick. I can make 40 versions of this very, very quickly and just get a quick idea. This is what's called a bubble diagram. So this is done before you start getting all your drawings done. Now, sometimes you want to do that and make copies of it. And I was showing you how to do area calculators in AutoCAD, in Revit, in Dynascape. I'm sure Vectorworks does it. But you're going to find that sometimes you just want a quick bubble diagram. I want something about this big and this big. And then you want to start playing with it. What happens if? What happens if? What happens if? I'm letting you know that for land planning, those what happens if get really important. What happens if I decrease my lot size, which decreases my parking size, which increases my permeable size. What happened? And how much cut and fill did I have, or how much of this and how much of that? You can also set this to work itself out by percentages. So if I were to make one of these that just had a certain area, let me just do something that's a given area. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. And where's my fill? There we go. If that's my given area and I say, okay, I know my area, I want 60% permeability, and I want maximum building pad based on that, I could set that up, and then I could say, but I need a certain parking. And so I would know that I could get this to calculate for me, if I say 60%, how big my building pad and how big my permeability would be. Sorry, and how big my parking would be. And if that doesn't meet my client's needs, then I could go to 50% and 40% and 30%. And it would start doing a lot of work for me right in here. Okay, so what I'm suggesting to you is that when we get into the land planning part, that you start looking at how to use Excel. Now you can imagine I could do that very easily with typing some stuff in here. Total area, percent permeability, maximum building pad percent, parking as percent of this based on this. And I can make a chart and I can make a calculator. And I could make 20 different versions of that and show it to my client and they'll go, oh, what? Whereas if you show them colored pictures, it's a big deal. But I don't want to go and draw 20 different ones in Dynascape or AutoCAD. Right? So that's one of the important things. You want to be able to bubble diagram. Now, there's a couple of programs that bubble diagram extremely well already. Revit is one of them. You can actually do what I just talked about in Revit. And you can actually program it to mass model based on percentages. Chief Architect is another one. Chief Architect has a bubble diagram creator that allows you to restrict certain areas to be percentages of others. And then you have a sort of a source area that's your primary area or two that sets everything up. They call it, it's not generative design, it's a design maximization algorithm. And in land planning, that is really key. So when we get into the land planning stuff, we have one more unit to do, and then we're into the land planning documents unit. I'm going to suggest that you start looking at these types of things. So I'm going to make a link to this one. Anyone with the link can view. There we go. And I'm going to put it in here. And the other thing that I like about this is, and I had it programmed in. I had it programmed in to give me both areas and volumes. So you can take a look at that and you can see how that works with something like Minecraft eQuest. Some of your basic cut and fill, how much dirt are you moving, all that kind of stuff. Some of your basic calculators. Okay. With that, any questions on what you have to submit for Sunday? Has everybody got their submittals done for this week? Can I look at this based on can I filter this? It's such a dumb system. The ability to filter is just so crummy. Search. Entries or author. Really crummy. But I can, and since they're in threads, it's hard to find out stuff. What I have to do is go into your analytics and find out. So when you post something, it tells me in your stuff whether you posted or something or not. So like a lot of you I'm seeing last week, I'm not seeing much this week. And you're supposed to post every week, not once per module, but once per week. Okay, so there was on a 7th, so that's cool. What's there's a Monday, cool. So now we're down into some of the ones. So we have a couple of them in here, but a lot of you probably need to get some more current ones in here, is what I'm seeing. So be sure to do that. Okay, the question says, did you post this week? And this week starts on Monday. Okay? So any questions? Questions? Okay. One last thing then, and I've got to see if we still have our license for it. Drone Deploy does some beautiful stuff like this, and a lot of civil companies use very typical ones that are similar, where you take a 3D scan, a drone scan, or a satellite scan, and it knows the topography, and you basically just draw a line around it, and it tells you volumes, it tells you projected areas, it tells you total areas. And so there's some very, very cool programs out there that we're not really going to cover in this class, but I suggest you go ahead and take a look at them. And Drone Deploy is a really, really good one, because you can get a scan, any type of 3D scan, and get some incredible data out of it just by clicking. You can get cross sections, you can get slopes, you can get areas, and it's from an actual 3D scan, photogrammatic 3D scan of an area. So it's kind of cool. Okay. All right. Well, then I'm going to go ahead then and log off for about 15 minutes. I have a class at 3. I'll get the recording up. And I'll get this recording up. And there we go. Cool.